Pee pee poo poo. What's going on? Hello. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Ooh. Trying to make it like quieter if I can. There we go. There we are. And why is my audio, why is my video capture never like proper? 1 second here. Let me get this thing figured out. There we go. Hi everybody. Hello everybody. 1 sec. Boop. Boop. Is it this one? No, nothing else. No, that's Prime. Never mind. Sorry. Oops. There we go. I gotta like figure this whole thing out. Hey, Veer, what's going on? There we go. It's like a whole like YouTube is a whole setup now. I realize it's a whole like 17,000 things set up. Anyway, sorry for being late, everybody. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Yes, so we are going to continue on with our Codecademy. We are going to Codecad, starting off with Grounded after the lesson. Yeah, we're gonna do some Grounded today, for sure. We're gonna do HTML forms, and forms isn't gonna be too long, I hope. Longish. It's okay. I think we can definitely knock this out in an hour or so. I think we can at least do the HTML forms part, and then we can do form validation tomorrow. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, okay, HTML form. Let's get to the introduction of that. So, we're looking at Google. We're gonna look at some Google today, and basically how to make a Google box. Yeah, so everyone uses forms. Everyone uses forms every day, either physically or on on Google. So the form element is responsible for collecting information to send to somewhere else. Every time we browse the internet, we come into contact with many forms that we might not even realize. There is a good chance that you're typing into a text field, providing input in the field you're typing is part of a form. So yeah, every time you go onto YouTube or onto Google or onto something, you're using a form, essentially. Just a very smart and small form. That's all it really is. So we're going to learn the structure and the syntax of the form. So there we are. So we're going to jump into that. So how a form works. So as we went back to our previous lessons, because we have to always go back to our previous lessons at this point, we always want to kind of get an idea of what the heck's going on, right? So again, our sandwiches, the HTML doc type is on the top right there, and the HTML language is in English. Their directive is LTR. We have a header right here, that's all header, and then we have a body again, right? And then they also sectioned it off to that overlay. So there's an overlay here with an image capture or image screen source, image source, which is this picture right here. And now we can add our code below. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're going to add in a bunch of stuff. Hey, you have Grounded? Yeah, we can play Grounded, yeah, for sure. I think it's up to 4 people, right? So if not, maybe a little bit more. So it should work, Okay. We can think of the internet as a network of computers that can send and receive information. Computers need an HTTP request to show how to communicate. The HTTP request instructs the receiving computer how to handle the incoming information. For more information can be found in the article about HTTP requests, which we'll kind of skip for now. The form element is a great tool for collecting information, but then we need to send that information somewhere else for processing. We need to supply the form element with both the location of where the form's information goes and what HTTP requests to make. Take a look at the sample from the sample element form below. So we have here form, and it's in its own little thing here, action, equals looks like an example HTML, so it's going to go somewhere. The method is by post. So I'm not too sure what that really, how that really puts everything together. Let's go. You guys are more interested in playing video games. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn. Learning's fun. Let's see, give me one second here. Is it too loud, by the way? Hopefully not too loud. We can kind of lower that a little bit. Yeah, I think we're okay. Never mind. Sorry, my bad. Where is that form? There we go. Anyways, so in the above action, we create a skeleton for a form that will send information to example HTML as a post request. As I said, the action is to put it somewhere. So we're going to put it somewhere by post. So I guess it's going to post up somewhere, I guess. The action attribute determines where the information is sent. The method attribute is assigned an HTTP verb that is included in the HTTP request. Okay. Note HTTP verbs like post do not need to be capitalized for the request to work, but it's done so out of convention. Okay, so we just keep on, you just do it. Yeah, so if you wanted, you don't have to do it. Yeah, you can just do post with small letters and it'll still work. The form element can also contain child elements. Oh, so we can actually put headers inside. And paragraphs as well. Remember the H1 headers and then the P element as a paragraph element. There we go. So there we are. We can also add paragraph to provide even more detail. Let's see an example of this code. So we can, obviously you saw that already. So no problems. Okay, instructions. Let's go and jump into this. In the section element, so in the section element right here, we got that right. And then we're going to add the code below because I already said that already. Add a form element under the provided comment. Assign the form with an action attribute with the value of /practice.html and a method attribute with the value of post. So what we'll do is, as we can just refer to that top part here if we really want to. So we can do form. We'll just do two things, and we'll do form, and then we can do action equals open bracket /practice. .html. Okay, and then we are going to continue on with the method equals open quotation mark post, and then we do that. Boom, there we go. So if we run this, nothing's really going to happen just yet, but we have that set up now. Number one's all good. Chris F. Hey, this is Trix. When did you move to YouTube? Hey, I moved to YouTube about a week ago. It's not a full move, actually, Trix. I'm just learning how to code on YouTube, but I'm still playing video games on Twitch. So we're just kind of splitting my learning and my playing into separate things. Yeah, and I'm doing this out of just making sure that I kind of split things in half, and I don't, people aren't bored of me trying to code on Twitch, and I can still play some video games and stuff like that. And, I still would like to be, somewhat relevant, right? So this is more like learning how to code for learning how to code, career-wise, I guess, if you want to call it that. Sorry, give me one second. Turn off something. Not bad. A super toasted toast. Now you're gonna hear me eat. Anyways, okay. So, Chris, if you're interested, Codecademy. It's a free site. You can learn how to code for free. You can follow along. You can follow the last 3 posts that I made as well on how to code your own website. So Now we're on the forms section. We're about 50% of the way there and learning how to code HTML websites. Yeah. I hope this interests you as well. That's the thing. Okay, so moving along. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a blank form on a burger site, and let's add some context. Add an H1 inside the form. Oh wait, I didn't close the form, did I? I need to close the form. I didn't do that. Oh my god, that's a big no-no. Why did I do that? Oh my god. That's like a instant fail right there for me. That's like an instant, like, what have you done? Looks fun. I guess it looks kind of fun, I guess. I'm trying to make it fun. Seriously, I am trying to make it as entertaining as possible, if I can. If you don't think it's fun, I'm sorry. Sorry, back to what we were trying to do. We're going to do an H1 inside the form element with text related to the site between the opening and closing. Okay, so we'll just put in buggers. And then we'll do a close. Remember, always close after you do your thing. After you open, you always do the /close. Buggers! And then we're going to add also some paragraph elements, so the P elements right below the H1 element, which is the header 1 element. So P, we're going to do P. Delish buggers. And then boom, 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 done, run. We did it. Boo, buggers, delicious buggers. There we go. I'm pretty sure they made it so that they wanted to have their little thing. Oh, F you. So, text input. So we're going to have a text input box. So essentially we're going to have a text input box now. So we want to put things on the form, right? So we want to put an in-text input field in our form. We need to have help with the input element. The input element has a type attribute which determines how it renders the web page on the web page and what kind of data it can accept. The first value for the type attribute we're going to explore is text, where we create an input element for with, I can't read today, I don't know why, with type equals text. It renders a text field that users can type into. Note the default value of type is text. So it's also important that we include a name attribute for this for the input. Without the name attribute, information in the input won't be sent when the form is submitted. We'll explain more about submissions and the submit button in a later exercise. For now, let's examine the following code. So what we have here is, so past that part of the H1, we have now the if I can get a play button, that'd be awesome. One day. Get one of those diamond play buttons right here. Input type equals text, name equals first text field. So it would probably have some type of like box that looks like that. After users type into the input element, the value of the value attribute becomes what is typed into the field. The value of what the value type is. What? The value of the value attribute becomes interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to try and like put that in my head. The value of the value attribute is paired with the value of the name attribute. Oh, okay, I see. And sent as text when the form is submitted. For instance, if a user typed in important details in the text field created by our input element, important details, you can see right here. When the form is submitted, the text first text field equals important details is sent to example.html. Because of the value of the name attribute is first dash text dash field, and the value of value is important details, we can also, it's like, oh, it's like really weird about it, but it's okay. I understand, sort of. We could also assign a default value for the value attribute so that users can have a pre-filled text field whenever they see the rendered form, like so. So if we put a value already pre-filled, and then it'll just add it in on its own. So if we add more information we add in, obviously, the more things we're going to do for it. That's all it really is. Simple as that, guys. When we say simple as that, I don't actually mean it's that simple. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put an element for the form. Instead of the form element, we're going to put in add an input. Element is type and text. Okay, so we're gonna try and kind of essentially copy that, essentially, right? So we're gonna do a input type equals text, and then that's it for now. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're looking at right now so far. And then we are also going to put in a name. So we can put the name equals, and then we do that thing again. So essentially we're doing name equals, open bracket, and then we're going to put in a username. And then it's going to run that. Let's see what happens when we add a value attribute with the value of Davey. So right now you can sort of put in, oh, I just gave a lot of information away. That's weird. So what we're gonna do is we're going to put the value of, oh, no, we're gonna go back here. We're gonna do value, equals, open that up, and then we're gonna do Davey with a capital D. Boom, now Davey's there. We got Davey. There we go, cool. Let's continue on. Okay, so next, we're gonna add labels. Sweet, okay. In the previous exercise, we created an input element that we didn't include, but we didn't include anything to explain what the input's used for. So essentially, we need to add something to start, making this happen, right? For a user to properly identify an input, we use the appropriately named label element. The label element has an opening and closing tag and displays text that is written between the opening and closing tags. To associate a label and an input, the input needs to be an ID attribute. Ooh, interesting. So you gotta put an ID in there. Huh. Oh, label for meal, ID for meal. Interesting. Okay. And they kind of did that already for us right here. Interesting. Okay. So we need to make a break for sure. So the BR, you can see they make a break. So label for equals meal. What do you want to eat? And then you close that label up, break, and then you do whatever the rest of this is. So in our case, essentially I just talked really quickly about it. We're gonna essentially put this into action here. So we'll just do this. We're gonna open up a label. Boom, okay. That is associated with the included input. So we're gonna give it a label for equals, and we'll go username. Okay, and then we close that part, and then we say, Then we just close the label out for now. I don't think they want us to do anything specific just yet. Add the label that is associated with the included input element in index.html for the for attribute. So we did do that by associating the for and the ID, which is the username. So we kind of figured that out as, again, meal for meal. Then add the text username within the label element. Okay, so we didn't do that part. So we're gonna do label. Okay. Oh wait, no, username. Sorry. Username. After clearing this checkpoint, click on the username label in the web browser to see the corresponding. Okay, boom. There we go. So now we have a username that we can put in. I'm not gonna click on it again because it's got some of my information that I do stuff with. So we're not gonna do that. It's okay. Oh, passwords. We're gonna put in passwords now. Oh, damn, we're gonna actually make an actual login form. Holy crap, I can actually make a login form for us for going into our deal. I can make a website, and then you guys can log into like my personal website where I don't know, do stuff. This is getting weird. Anyways, password input. Password input. So it's just another label that we see here. For equals user dash pw. Password is that's the thing right there. We're gonna put in a box. Essentially, that's what we're gonna be doing. So the type this time is going to be password. The ID is going to be user dash password, which is not really true because it's going to be user dash pw. Holy, you hide all the hacks. You hide all the hacks. Yeah, that's where I had all the hacks. Exactly right. This is where I do the time to hack. Time to hack into Google's whatever. Get in trouble after learning the easiest HTML form inputs. I mean, honestly, being a cyber security engineer, it makes so much money. It's ridiculous, and all they do is just, well, not all they do, but like they sit around and they try to like break into like different ways of breaking into like into what do you call it, into like emails and stuff like that, and then they tell them about it, and then they go, that's what's screwed up, and then they get paid like a buttload of money for saving them essentially. So what do we got here? So anyways, after user types of password looks like that. So I'm assuming we're gonna do we're gonna do the attribute password. Okay, so we're gonna put in an input. Okay, so we're gonna put in an input. We're gonna put input type, and it's equals, open that, and we're gonna say password. I would love that job. If when I get fired, I would go back to school for that. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of on that same boat. I'm kind of like counting down the days until I actually get fired from my job, just because I don't think I'm doing very well. But I'm just kind of like getting as much as I can, so that I can kind of like go, whoa, okay, let's go. And then the name attribute is going to be user dash pw. Type password is password. Let's see here. We're going to assign ID to the correct value associated with the second label with this new input, which we just did. Set a newly created input element type is attributed to password, yeah, and set the name attribute to user dash pw. So we're gonna do name. Oops, we're gonna do name, and then we're gonna go equals and then we're gonna put in user dash PW. There we go. And then we'll close that off right there. And then boom, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. We got a user password block set up and a username block set up as well. Awesome. Cool. So, what we're gonna do now, we're gone over with two type attributes for input related to the text, but we might want our users to type a number, in which case we can set the type attribute to, you guessed it, the number. So, you know, how many patties would you like? You now have like 10, 11, 45. You can have so many. By setting the type number for an input, we can restrict what users can type in to the input field to just numbers and special characters like plus or minus and the dot. We can also provide a step attribute, which creates arrows inside the input field to increase or decrease the value of the step attribute. Interesting. Okay. Below is the code needed to render an input field for numbers. So essentially what we're going to probably do is we're going to do that number. So you can add in, hey, what's going on? Yeah, you can like start pressing up and pressing down, and you can add in numbers of beef patties, it looks like for us in this point. So you can see right here that the value is already put in as beef already, right? So the ID patty for the label, what type of protein would you like, is set for patty. Boom and boom. Section class is protein, so they actually made a section for that. We have another section as well. So everything's always in sections, right? So the label for patty, okay, so the text, let's type it as text. Now we're gonna add in the input is going to be type, and we're going to equals, open that, it's going to be numbers, number, sorry, boom. And then we're going to set up the ID equals amount. And then we're gonna set up. Okay, so let's take a look here. What do they want us to do here? Let's see. So now we have a label for patties that is associated with the input. Okay, so since we want users to enter a number, create an input and set the attributes. Associate the input to the first label by assigning it to the correct value to ID. So I kind of did that kind of backwards here. So the ID, excuse me, the ID is now at second, but it should be fine. The type is going to be number. Step is going to be equal to 1. And then we're going to add a name. So we're going to add a name equals, and then we're going to say amount. So if we do that, what should happen is, oh, did you set the, oh, you know what? Okay, 1 second here. There we go. I misspelt. There we go. Yeah, so now what you can do, give me 1 second here. I need to see if something's gonna do the thing I wanted to do or not. Give me 1 second here. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we're fine. So we can go step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can put in 1,000,001 patties if I really want to. Wow, look at all those patties. That's gonna be expensive. That's gonna be a spicy burger. You want a quad burger? Okay, you got a quad burger. Okay, there you go, quad burger. I was gonna say 1,000,001 burger, you know, most expensive burger. That'd be like a burger that no one can ever finish, I realize. Sweet. Oh, okay, now we can add in the range. Okay, now we can figure out what part of the range we want for our burger. Dang. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the range input. Okay. Using a input type equals number is great if we want allow users to type in the number of their choosing, but if we wanted to limit the numbers of our users that could type, we might consider using a different type value. Another option we could use is setting the type to range, which which creates a slider. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, okay. So we just added this part. As you can see, that they sort of added this part as well in a way. So span, well done. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So let's see what happens here. To set a minimum and maximum values of the slider, we assign values to min and max attribute of the input. So we could also control how smooth and fluid the slider works by assigning the step attribute a value. Smaller step values will make the slider more fluidly, whereas larger step values will make it move more noticeably. I can't talk right now, I'm so sorry. Take a look at the code to create a slider. Okay, so the ID volume control, name volume, type is range, max is 0, minimum 0, maximum is 100, step is 1. So if you do that, it'll kind of like zip really quickly, which is pretty cool. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to now do a setup for this. So they kind of set us up for the span between rare and well done. So you can see right here that we can now put in, but I guess what they want to do is they want to set it up so that it's like, you can put rare, the slider's at 0, rare well, and then well done is like, boom, right there. Or I guess gotta split that, that's kind of dumb. That's okay. So rare is on one side, well done's on the other. That's fine. Okay, let's see here. This practice has 2 new elements and an attribute that you might not be familiar with. Section, an element that used to represent a standalone section, which a more specific element can't be found. This usually has a heading as a child element. A section should make sense in the outline of a document, whereas div, which is the division, just remember the division part, is useful for styling. This is a semantic element you'll learn more about in a later lesson. Okay, so yeah, semantics is always definitely a big one for sure. Class, a global attribute that has a list of classes pertaining to the element. So class is well cooked. Okay, or class is cooked using the section in the practice. HR, where's the HR? Where's the HR element? I don't see an HR element. I see a BR element. Break. Is that correct then? Is it or is it the BR? Oh no, I see it. HR. It's right there. I see it. So that's like another break between paragraphs, it looks like. So you can see that there's some kind of break line in between. So what kind of protein would you like? Let's create a burger. So let's create a burger. So the class is protein. Patty, what type of protein would you like? And then we can have, burgers, whatever. The type would be text, name would be Patty, ID is also Patty, section. So that completes one section, and then we do an HR for a break. And that's the break right there, it looks like. And then another section, obviously for the patties, how many you want, which we just did. Close off the section, and then the HR, which is another split. And then finally, we have this part, which we technically don't need to put the HR in, but I guess we can if we really wanted to do that for the section. So if we want to do let's just say do HR, and then close that off, I would assume if you run that, yeah, there you go, there's another line right there. So yeah, so you can put that in if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's do the instructions that we're looking for. let's give our users an option of how they want to cook their patties. We can do this by adding a slider to the existing forms. In the section with the class equals cooked, which we have here, add an input element. So we're going to do that right there, input, and then we're going to do ID to equal open bracket, looks like doneness they want. And then they want the name as well to also equal doneness. Okay. And then we're gonna set the attribute of type equals to range. And then we're gonna close this off right there. So that should work out. There you go. So we can actually now see how awesome, how done do you want this patty to be? How patty do you want this patty? You know? And then for the newly created input, set the minimum attribute to 0, maximum attribute to 5, and the step attribute to 0.5. So we're going to be a fairly scaled thing. So yeah, we're going to add in more things here. So we're going to continue on adding more on the input side. So we're going to do the min attribute equals to 0, the max attribute also equaling to 5. So it's got a 5-step process, and then finally step equals blah, and then 0.5. Boom. So now if we press run, it's going to be fairly, you know, it's pretty darn good. But if we put in, let's just say 10, what will probably happen is it's going to be very like one or the other. Yeah, you can't even like go. You can't even go from one to the other. Maybe not as crazy. Yeah, so you can see that there's like bigger jumps, as you can see, like big jumps. Boop 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 boop. Yeah. So if the max is 5, right? I mean, if the max is let's just say 100, right? And then we do the step equals to 10, right? It's gonna be like kind of chunky-ish, right? But if we set the step to like, let's just say 20, so we split into 5s, so it's gonna be like or if we set it to 1, it'll be like super smooth. You'll be like, whoa, I can do whatever I want. So as you can clearly see, you can have a patty. I can have 4 patties that are kind of rare, and we can add in beef if we wanted to. And I can do this. Value equals open bracket kangaroo. I want kangaroo meat. Boom. I want kangaroo patties. I want 4 of them, and they're gonna be fairly rare-ish. Fairly rare-ish. There you go. I'll take a southern style barbecue burger. Honestly, that would be the funniest thing if I could start making a burger site, and then just people can like order burgers for me to eat, essentially, or something. I don't know. That'd be hilarious. Okay, the checkbox input. Ooh, we're gonna add in some checkboxes. Okay, so yo, this burger deal is gonna be pretty sweet. Okay, so now the typing we're gonna add in is gonna be checkbox. Let's examine the checkbox. So essentially, we're gonna add in the value of pepperoni. Checkbox is the type. Name is gonna be for topping, and then the ID is gonna be for pepperoni. So, and then we wanna just basically, essentially, it's very, you know, it's very simple in a way. So for cheese ID is a cheese ID. So that's the label for cheese, extra cheese. Name, excuse me, name is topping, name is topping, the name is topping. So I'm assuming it's gonna go all the way to the same form of top. Can I get a hot chicken sandwich, extra hot? Actually, I need to go to Dave's Hot Chicken because there's one that's like really close to me where I live. Do you want to go there? Can I get a boneless pizza? Can I get a boneless pizza, please? Like 0 bones. Easy on the bones. Can I get a boneless taco, please? With bones on the side. Okay, so yeah, so the name part definitely has a thing for that part. Oh man, how close are we at this point? What's the duration? We're almost at the hour. Dang. Okay. Let's see if we can kind of rush this a little bit. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Okay. So now we're gonna add in so the input equal ID name checkbox type value. Okay, so we're gonna now put in the class of toppings. Okay, so in the section of toppings, okay, there are two labels, but no associated input. So we're gonna add in the elements for the label. So we're gonna create input should have ID set to lettuce. Right? Yeah. Right? Okay, so we're gonna put it in here for tomatoes. Add your code in for the first checkbox. Hold on, let's see here. Add another. Okay, okay, for some reason I'm just like I don't understand why this is happening, but okay. There are 2 labels but no associated. Add an input associated with the first label. So the first label is this, I'm pretty sure. The first label is lettuce. I'm pretty sure, at least. So we're gonna do exactly what this is. We're gonna put input ID equals, and then we're gonna put in for lettuce. So I should just do that now. Put input, and then we're gonna do ID equals open lettuce, and then we're gonna put in name. Actually, I don't understand here. Let me see what's happening here. Choose your toppings for pizza. That's your paragraph form. Huh. Okay. Name is value of topping. Oh, for the class of toppings, right? Okay. And then we're gonna do. ID set to lettuce. Yeah. Name attribute is set to topping. Type. Yeah. We're gonna do now type equals, open that to checkbox, and then the value is lettuce. Value equals the lettuce. Close that off. Oops. Close that off. So if I run that, there we go. So we have, that's not right. I feel like that's not right at all. Oh, I see. The checkbox is, okay, I see now. Okay, maybe. I see what's happening here. I see what they did here. So they want me to put the checkbox next to the lettuce. I see. And then we're gonna put in for tomato. So now we're gonna do tomato. So we're gonna do another input. Oh my gosh, okay. And then we're gonna do input. And then we're gonna do ID equals tomato. Whoops. Tomato, not with the E. And then we're gonna do name equals open bracket topping. So it's part of the class of toppings. We're gonna do type equals checkbox. And the value is equal to tomato. So now, if we run that, that should do number 2 right there. Be right back 1 minute. Yeah, no problem. All good. Thank you so much for still stopping by. I really appreciate that. Whoa, we got 7 views. We had some extra people come in. What? Thank you so much. I know we're just starting out. We're trying. We're honestly trying, you know? We're trying to get more people in if we can. I know it's not like the most brilliant of concepts trying to code from the start, but you know, it is what it is. People gotta start somewhere. And I want you guys to see all the craziness that happens when you're trying to learn. That's the most important part. Learning is difficult. Okay, and then we're gonna add another checkbox and label pair. Assign the name to the input to topping. You're free to decide what value ID. Make sure your new label and input. Okay, so we're gonna basically, what they want us to do is basically do something completely different, completely new for a new checkbox. So we're gonna do input, and we're gonna do ID is, what do we want, guys? What do we want? What kind of topping do we want? We want I don't know. Hot dogs. Everybody likes hot dogs. And then we're gonna name equals topping. And then we're gonna do type equals open bracket or open quotation. Nope. Type equals checkbox, and then value equals hot dog, and then we close that off. That's our input right there, and then we're gonna make a label. Give me a second here. What happened here? What did this thing do? Something happened to this form. That's so strange. I totally didn't do that part too. Label for equals open bracket hot dog. There we go. And then we'll close this off and say hot dog. And then we're gonna boom that. We're gonna do close label. There we go. So if we run that, there we are. We now have a checkbox for tomato, lettuce, and hot dog. So if we want to put a hot dog in, we can put a hot dog in. Hot dog. There we go. Okay. Next, radio inputs. Okay, so now we can put in a yes or no, and then we can put in a little circle dot thing in there. So checkboxes work well if we want to present users with multiple options and let them choose one or more options. However, there are cases where we want to present multiple options and only allow for one selection. So basically yes or no. Like asking users if they agree or disagree. So essentially, how do we do this? So from what we have here, we're going to go down to the bottom. The section class is going to be cheesy. Would you like to add cheese? And it's going to break, and then we're going to add in our input here for type radio, ID 11, answer, name equals answer, value equals 11. So type equals radio, ID equals 11, and then for label for 11. So ID 11 for 11, and then the answer name. There's probably something up there on the top saying what the section for that class is, right? So the section should be cheesy in our section, or for our name, and then the value we add to that would be yes or no. Pickles, please. Pickles? You want pickles? Okay, that's easy. I can do that. We can change the label for that to pickles. You can change the ID for this to pickles. The ID for that, and then we can change 4 equals to pickles. If I run that, boom, there we go. We got pickles. You can choose the pickles. Boom, boom. Lettuce, tomato, pickles. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bam. Deep fried. You can add deep fried. Yeah, I can do that later. Section class should be deep fried. Section class fried. Would you like to add cheese? So now we're going to put the first radio button in for yes or no. So for yes, what we're going to do is we're going to put in the input. So the input, so let's go to the bottom here. It's going to be input, and then we'll put in the type, or so the ID first is set to yes, because for the label 4 is also set to yes. Okay, and then the type equals to radio, and then the name equals open bracket cheese, and then the value is equal to yes. We close that input off, we press that, boom, now we have, oh, maybe it didn't close off properly. There we go. That should work now. There we go. Yeah, so you can now click on the yes radio button. There's like no other radio button you can press. Is there like a thing where you can double press it and it goes away? I guess not. Okay, it's all good. Anyways. Okay, so now we're gonna put in the no. So we're gonna put in the second radio button for that. So we're gonna do input for ID equals no. Oops, no. Type is equal to radio. And then we're gonna do name. And this is for cheese. And then the value is equal to yes. Close that off. And if we run that, oh no, wait, I put in yes instead of no. My bad. Whoopsies. Because I copied the top. There we go. So you have a yes. Would you like to add cheese? Yes or no? Or we can also add in if you really, really want to. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of like me. We can do input ID equals lactose free. There we go. And then we put in type radio, radio, and then we can go name equals open bracket cheese, and then the value equals lactose free. Close that bracket off. We're gonna put in a label. 4 equals open quotes lactose free, and then we're gonna close this off, and then we're gonna write lactose free, and then we're gonna boom boom, and then close the label up. So what should happen is bada bing, bada boom, lactose free is right there, my friends. So yes, no, lactose free. Boom. All right, let's go. Next. Where are we here? We're a little bit over the hour. Oh no, we're just under the hour. We're just a little bit under the hour. Give me a second here. We gotta do something real quick. There we go. Okay. Now a drop down list. What type of bun would you like? Man, oh man, we are making this burger form legit, guys. This is getting kind of nuts. Okay, I like this. So the value now is we're gonna do a label for lunch. What's for lunch? So that's the label. Select ID equals lunch. Name equals lunch. So now we have an option for pizza, curry, salad, ramen, tacos. So now we're going to learn a new item. We're going to learn a new element. So instead of having the input element, we're going to learn the select element. That's what it looks like to me. So, okay. So now we're going to add in the section element class of bun type right there. There is a label that we can associate select element with. So what we're going to do is we're going to now do a select element, and then we're going to do I'm assuming, is it ID? Yeah, ID, select ID. It's always that. It's always an ID code. So for bun, we're going to do the ID code for bun, and then bun class of material associated with this. And the ID, yeah. So the ID of bun, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then oops. So now, what we're going to do is, I guess we're just gonna we're gonna put a name in there. I guess name equals bun type, I guess. And then we're gonna close it off. Oh, whoops. Just bun. All they want is just bun. There we go. Okay. So inside the select element, add element options. So in our element option, we have to put in options, boop. So we close it off. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do 2 spaces, and then we're gonna do an option. Okay. And then the value is going to be sesame equals same, and then we're gonna put the we're gonna close it off, and then we're gonna name it sesame, and then boop boop option, and then we can close that off right there. What should happen is if I do that, now we can you can add sesame right there. Did you add 3? Okay, we didn't add 3, but we wanted to see if we gotta see if it works. God, jeez, relax. You should tell us that we're kind of on our way, but not quite, you know. Option value, not value, value equals, what's the next one that they want us to add? Potato. Ew. Yeah, potato as a potato bun. Oh, potato bun. I've seen that before. Potato. And then we can close that option. And then finally, last option we're going to add in. Value equals and then we're gonna put in a relevant one, gluten free, and then we're gonna put in gluten free, and then we're gonna do option, close the option off. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. We should have it. No, is that not correct? Oh, I put in sesame wrong. My bad. Sesame. Potato. Did I put in the potato right? I don't think I put in the potato right. There we go. Is it right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we can go gluten-free, potato, or sesame. I just need to work on my spelling. That's all it really is. That's all it really is, folks. Okay. Data list input. Okay, we're like 4 things away, really. We're close. We're at the hour. Okay. Data list input. All right. So now, what type of sauce would you like? Ooh, interesting. Okay, so what happens is we're gonna put a data list instead of the select name. We're now gonna put in a data list ID, and then we're gonna put in the options for that. Okay, seems pretty simple. Well, let's show you so many differences. Associate element. So the difference here is there are some major differences in the associated input element. Users can type the input field to search for a particular option. Okay, if none of the options match, you can still use the typed in. When the form is submitted, the value of the input value is. Oh, okay. So interesting. So the data list will be added in if we put in this as an extra item. So kind of like if they want to add something extra, no problem, all good. So we should look at the data list here. So again, data list is ID equals cities. So in our case, it's going to be for sauce, right? So we're going to do data list, and we're going to do ID equals open brackets sauces, and then we're gonna close that off. And I think that's the only thing we're gonna run right now. Yeah, okay, and then we're now gonna add in our options. So we're gonna do open bracket options. We're gonna do 3 options. The first option is gonna be the value of ketchup, and then we're going to close this off, and then we're going to say ketchup, and we're going to close this option. Boom. Second option is going to be mayo. So we're going to do another value equals mayo. Oops. Mayo. Close that bracket off. Always remember to close off. Remember that, right? Every time we do something, we got to close it off so it's all clean. And then option 3, value equals Trix, you're out of here? Okay, have yourself a good night. Thank you so much for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I get to see you again really soon, okay? The value would be for, I don't know, tahini. Because I had tahini the other day and it's very good. Tahini be the shiz. Okay, and that finishes that data list, looks like. Oh, we better close off data list, that's right. So we gotta do, boom, there we go. Did we do it wrong? Option with the exact Oh, please. Please. Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, ketchup, mayo, Tajin. Tajin, sorry. Tajin. And then we have a text area element. So we're going to add in an area where people can add in extra stuff if they really want to, and then a submit form. And then we're done. Okay, sweet. Okay. So we're going to create a submit button. That's all it really is. Okay. An input element with the type text creates a single row input field for users to type in information. However, there are cases where users need to write in more information, like a blog post. In such cases, instead of using an input, we could use the text area selection. Okay, so we're going to add in a text area, and then we're going to add the ID equals to whatever we're going to add in. So in our case, it's going to be extra. Name is going to be extra, and then we're going to add in how many rows and columns that they're going to be. So in our case, 5 rows, 30 columns. So that's going to be, yeah, we're going to do that. And then if we wanted even a bigger text field, we can click on the drawing and expand it. Yeah, when we submit the form, the value of text area is the text area written inside the box. If we want to add in Nitrix, yeah, Nitrix. If we want to add a default value to text area, we could include it within the opening and closing tags like so, adding default text. This code will render text area that contains a pre-filled text, adding default text. Oh, okay, I see. So it'd say adding default text. So, or we can say like, text area could say like, input your order here, or enter comment or whatever, and then it'll say enter comment on that little box right there. That's how it's like kind of gives you instructions on how to do extra things on there. That's all it really is. Cool. So let's finish this baby off. Let's finish Davy's Burgers off really quickly right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a text area, and then we're gonna give an ID equals, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna go extra. Okay, we're gonna name it extra. So extra. I didn't learn what the word extra was until a little bit later on. It was kind of sad. Yeah, and then we'll close this off. Okay. Element class is extra info. Okay, we provided the label element. Add text area with the following attributes. So we have ID and name set to extra, which is what we did. So we can kind of fall back on this a little bit really quickly here. And then we're going to add in rows set to 3, columns set to 40. So we're just going to add those in just as like little dots. So we're going to add in rows equals open brackets 3, and then columns equals 40. So now what should happen is if I run this, oops, oh, I didn't put an S in the column attribute, just the columns equals, boom, 40. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. Why is it saying section? Oh, did I not close it right? I need to close it, don't I? Yeah, I gotta close text area. Mobby! I gotta remember, that's a attention to detail thing I gotta remember. There we go. You may add any text you want, but it cannot be blank. Yeah, stuff. There you go. Easy. Okay, so what we're gonna finally do here is we're gonna add in a submit button or a send button. So the input type is submit, value equals send. So in our case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in the class submission, which I'm pretty sure they did already. Yeah, okay, the object class is already set up for that. Now we're gonna add in the input. And then we're gonna add in input equals type equals submit, and we're going to name it equals submit, and then we can close that off, and I think that should be fine. Yeah, now there's a submit button right there. Bada bing, bada boom. And they also put an HR in the middle. There you go. So type equals submit value. Oh, wait. It's the value. Equals submit. There you go. Might be. Value was wrong, but the type was right. So it was like 9 out of 10. There. Big S. There we go. Review. Guys. We made a giant form for an amazing burger thing. So how do you want your burgers? How do you want this? How do you want that? All set up in Midform. So we kind of learned this today, which is kind of nice. I mean, there's so much practice we need for this because this isn't like you would forget after a while. You gotta do this over and over and over again until we kind of get everything all set up. Yeah. So it really is just learning. Having a cheat sheet is very helpful as well. Right? So there you go. So form validation. So this is the next part of the course. We'll actually do that next time because we are at the hour and a bit. So yeah. So thank you so much for jumping in on this part. Yeah, we're gonna learn more tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Yeah, so we're gonna switch over to Twitch for gaming. All right, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.